Imagine for a moment, a very large wall built across a river. This wall is called a dam. The purpose of this wall is to stop or slow down the flow of water. When the water is stopped, it collects behind the dam and forms a big man-made lake. This lake is called a reservoir. Countries all over the world build these giant structures for many important reasons. One of the biggest reasons is to create electricity. When water is released from the reservoir, it flows through special tunnels with great force. This powerful flow of water turns large machines called turbines, which then generate electricity. This type of power is known as hydropower, and it is often called a clean source of energy because it does not burn fuel, like coal or gas. Another very important reason for building dams is to control water for farming. In many places, rain does not fall evenly throughout the year. There can be long dry seasons when farmers do not have enough water for their crops. A dam allows a country to store water during the rainy season, and then release it slowly during the dry season. This ensures that farmers have a steady supply of water for irrigation, helping to grow food for millions of people. This control over water can make the difference between a good harvest and a failed one, which is why dams are so critical for food security in many parts of the world. They help turn dry, unusable land into fertile fields. Dams also play a crucial role in protecting people from floods. Rivers can be very dangerous, especially during periods of heavy rain or when snow melts quickly in the mountains. The water level can rise very fast, causing devastating floods that destroy homes, farms, and roads. By building a dam, engineers can manage the amount of water flowing downstream. During a flood risk, the dam can hold back the excess water in its large reservoir. The water can then be released slowly and safely over a longer period. This simple act of controlling the river's flow can save lives and prevent billions of dollars in damage, making communities living along the river much safer. Finally, the large reservoirs created by dams can be used for other purposes as well. They can become a source of drinking water for big cities, supplying homes and businesses with the fresh water they need every day. These man-made lakes are also often used for fun activities like boating, fishing, and swimming, which can bring tourists and money to the local area. So, while a dam is just a wall across a river, its impact is much bigger. It provides power, helps grow food, prevents disasters, and supplies water for our daily lives. This is why many countries see building large dams as a sign of progress and a key to a better future for their people. High up in the cold, remote mountains of the Tibetan Plateau, a great river begins its long journey. Here, in China, it is called the Yarlung Zangbo. This river is like the lifeblood of the region, starting from the icy glaciers of the Himalayas. For hundreds of kilometers, it flows eastward, across Tibet, through deep valleys and wide plains. The land here is often dry and high, and the river provides the essential water that allows people and animals to survive. It carves its way through the landscape, creating some of the deepest and most spectacular canyons on Earth. This part of the river is wild and powerful, a symbol of nature's incredible force in one of the world's most dramatic landscapes. As the river reaches the eastern edge of the Himalayas, it makes a dramatic turn to the south. It flows through a massive canyon and crosses the border into India. As soon as it enters the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh, its name changes. Here, it is known as the Siang River. After flowing through the mountains of Arunachal Pradesh, it enters the wide, flat plains of the state of Assam. This is where it becomes the mighty Brahmaputra. The Brahmaputra is one of India's most important rivers. It is huge and powerful, often appearing more like a flowing sea than a river, especially during the monsoon season when it swells with rainwater and melted snow from the mountains. The Brahmaputra River is absolutely vital for the people who live along its banks in India. Millions of people depend on it for their daily lives and their livelihoods. The fertile plains of Assam, which are created by the rich soil the river carries down from the mountains, are perfect for growing rice and tea. The river is a source of water for drinking and for irrigating these vast farmlands. It is also a major transportation route, with boats and ferries carrying people and goods between towns and villages. For many communities, the river is not just a source of water, it is a central part of their culture, their economy, and their spiritual life. After its long journey through India, the river's journey is still not over. It crosses another international border and flows into the country of Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, its name changes again, and it is called the Jamuna River. Here, it joins another great river, the Ganges, before finally emptying into the Bay of Bengal. In Bangladesh, a low-lying and densely populated country, the river is both a blessing and a challenge. It brings fertile soil that supports the nation's agriculture, but it also brings massive floods that can displace millions. For the people of Bangladesh, just like for the people of India and Tibet, this great river system is essential for survival, shaping their lives in countless ways. In a remote and rugged part of Tibet, near the border with India, China has started building something truly enormous. It is a new megadam complex on the Yarlung Zangbo River, the same river that becomes the Brahmaputra in India. This project is not just a single dam. It is planned as a series of connected power stations built along a deep canyon. This location was chosen because the river drops very steeply here, creating a massive potential for generating electricity. The scale of this project is hard to imagine. It is designed to be the largest hydropower project in the world, a true giant among dams. Construction officially began in the middle of 2025, marking the start of a huge engineering challenge. The numbers associated with this mega dam are staggering. The plan is for the dam system to produce around 60 gigawatts of electricity. To understand how much that is, consider the famous Three Gorges Dam, which was previously the world's largest power station. This new dam complex is designed to have nearly 3 times the electricity generating capacity of the Three Gorges Dam. The total cost is estimated to be around 1.2 trillion yuan, which is about 170 billion US dollars. This massive investment shows just how important this project is to the Chinese government. A special new company, the China Yajiang Group, has been created just to manage the construction and operation of this enormous project. The main purpose of building this colossal dam is to generate a massive amount of electricity. China's government has stated that the project will produce about 300 billion kilowatt hours of electricity every year once it is fully operational, which is expected to be sometime in the 2030s. Most of this electricity is not for the local region of Tibet. Instead, it will be sent over long distances to power the big industrial cities and manufacturing centers along China's east coast. These areas are the engines of China's economy, and they have a huge and growing need for energy. A smaller portion of the power will be used to support development within Tibet itself. The location of the dam is what makes it so powerful, but also so controversial. It is being built very close to the area known as the Great Bend, where the Yarlung Zangbo makes its sharp turn south towards India. This spot, near the city of Nyingchi, is just upstream from where the river crosses the border. This means that the dam will control the water that flows directly into India's state of Arunachal Pradesh. Because it is so large and so strategically located, this project is much more than just an energy project. It represents a major change in the control and management of one of Asia's most important shared rivers, with potential consequences for millions of people living downstream. According to Chinese officials, the new megadam on the Yarlung Zangbo is a project of great national importance, with many benefits for the country. The primary goal, as stated publicly, is to help China meet its ambitious climate targets. China has pledged to become carbon neutral by the year 2060, which means it needs to drastically reduce its reliance on burning coal for electricity. Hydropower, like the energy that will be generated by this dam, is presented as a clean and renewable alternative. Officials argue that by generating massive amounts of electricity from water, China can avoid burning millions of tons of coal each year, which will significantly reduce air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. The project is also framed as a major step forward for China's economic development. The vast amount of electricity produced by the dam will power the country's booming industries, especially in the heavily populated coastal regions. This reliable energy supply is seen as essential for keeping the economy growing and for improving the standard of living for millions of Chinese citizens. Premier Li Qiang has even called the project a project of the century, highlighting its importance in the government's long-term plans. The dam is seen not just as an energy source, but as a symbol of China's technological skill and its ability to undertake massive engineering feats to secure its future. Chinese officials have also tried to reassure downstream countries like India and Bangladesh. They have stated that the project will be a run-of-the-river dam. This type of dam is designed to use the natural flow of the river to generate electricity without storing huge amounts of water in a large reservoir for long periods. They claim that this design will not significantly affect the volume of water flowing downstream. They have promised to be transparent and to share information about the river's flow with their neighbors. The official message is that China will be a responsible upstream country, and that the dam will be managed in a way that considers the needs of everyone who depends on the river. Furthermore, the Chinese government presents the dam as beneficial for the local region of Tibet. They argue that the project will bring jobs, infrastructure, and economic growth to what has historically been a less developed area. A portion of the electricity generated will be used to power local homes and businesses, improving daily life for people in Tibet. The construction of roads, bridges, and other facilities needed for the dam project is also said to contribute to the overall development of the region. From Beijing's perspective, the dam is a win-win situation. It provides clean energy for the nation, drives economic growth, and modernizes a remote part of the country. Despite the assurances from China, the news of the mega dam has caused deep concern in India and Bangladesh. These two downstream nations are very worried about what will happen to the Brahmaputra River once the giant dam is operational. Their biggest fear is about water security. The Brahmaputra is a lifeline for millions of farmers in northeast India and Bangladesh, and they depend on the river's natural seasonal flow for irrigating their crops. The fear is that China will now have a tap on the river. It could choose to hold back water during the dry season when it is most needed downstream, which could lead to severe water shortages and devastate agriculture. This control over the water flow could be used as a political tool. Experts worry that China could weaponize water in times of political tension. By reducing the river's flow, it could put immense pressure on India and Bangladesh without ever firing a shot. A government analysis in India from August 2025 suggested a frightening possibility. The dam could reduce the river's flow during the dry season by up to 85%. It also estimated that China could potentially divert huge quantities of water away from the river entirely. This has created a sense of vulnerability as India and Bangladesh would be dependent on the goodwill of China for their water supply, a situation no country wants to be in. There are also serious concerns about flooding. While holding back water is one fear, the opposite is also a threat. A massive dam has the ability to release huge amounts of water very suddenly. This could be done intentionally or it could happen by accident. Such a sudden release would create a man-made flash flood downstream, which would be catastrophic for the densely populated plains of Assam and Bangladesh. This worry is made worse by a lack of trust. In the past, India and China have had disagreements over sharing hydrological data, which is information about water levels and flow rates. Without a formal water-sharing treaty for the Brahmaputra, India and Bangladesh feel they have no legal protection or guarantee of cooperation. The skepticism about China's promises of transparency runs deep in both New Delhi and Dhaka. Officials and experts in India and Bangladesh remember past instances where information about river flows during the flood season was not shared in a timely or complete manner. They question whether China's claim that this will be a run-of-the-river project is entirely true, given its massive scale and the potential to store vast amounts of water. The lack of an international agreement, similar to the treaties that govern other major rivers like the Indus or the Ganges, leaves the downstream countries in a precarious position, largely at the mercy of decisions made in Beijing. Beyond the political and water security concerns, there are major worries about the safety of building such a massive dam in this particular location. The project is situated in a region that is one of the most geologically active in the world. The Himalayan mountain range was formed by the collision of the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates, and these plates are still pushing against each other. This means the area experiences frequent earthquakes. In fact, a massive earthquake, with a magnitude of 8.6, struck the Assam-Tibet region in 1950, not far from the dam site. Building the world's largest dam in such a seismic hotspot is a huge gamble, and raises terrifying questions about what would happen if a strong earthquake were to damage the structure. Climate change adds another layer of risk to the project. The Tibetan Plateau is often called the third pole because it holds the largest reserve of fresh water in glaciers outside of the polar regions. These glaciers are the source of the Yarlung Zangbo and many other major Asian rivers. However, this region is warming much faster than the global average, causing the glaciers to shrink at an alarming rate. This has two dangerous effects. First, it changes the river's flow, making it less predictable. Second, it increases the risk of a disaster known as a glacial lake outburst flood, or GLOF. As glaciers melt, They can form large, unstable lakes which can suddenly burst, sending a massive wall of water, ice and rock downstream, threatening any infrastructure in its path, including a giant dam. The dam is also being built in an area of incredible natural beauty and importance. The Yarlung Zangbo Grand Canyon, where the dam is located, is the deepest and longest canyon in the world. It is also a global biodiversity hotspot, meaning it is home to an extraordinary number of different plant and animal species. The area contains China's largest remaining primary forest, with thousands of types of plants, some of which are found nowhere else on Earth. It is also a habitat for rare and endangered animals, like the snow leopard, the red panda, and even the Bengal tiger. Building a massive industrial project in the middle of this fragile ecosystem will inevitably cause irreversible damage to this unique natural heritage. Finally, while hydropower is promoted as clean energy, large dams can have their own negative impact on the climate. When a huge area of land is flooded to create a reservoir, all the trees and plants under the water begin to rot. This process of decomposition releases large amounts of methane, a greenhouse gas that is much more potent than carbon dioxide at trapping heat in the atmosphere. So, while the dam may reduce carbon emissions from burning coal, it could contribute to global warming in other ways. These complex environmental risks show that the dam is not a simple solution and could create a new set of serious problems for the region and the planet. Large infrastructure projects like the mega dam always come with a human cost, and this one is no different. The construction of the dam and the creation of its massive reservoir will require moving thousands of people from their homes. For generations, local Tibetan communities have lived in this area, developing a way of life that is deeply connected to the river and the mountains. These people will be forced to leave their ancestral lands and resettle in new areas. Based on past dam projects in Tibet, it is estimated that the development of hydropower in the region has already displaced over 140,000 people, and future projects, including this one, could affect more than 1 million people in total. When these communities are moved, it is not just their homes that are lost. A whole world of traditional knowledge disappears with them. For centuries, the local people have lived by the river. They have learned to read its signs, to understand its moods, and to know when the land is stable, or when it might be at risk of a landslide. This knowledge, passed down through generations, is an invaluable source of information for monitoring environmental hazards. When these people are resettled in unfamiliar towns or cities, this deep connection to the land is broken, and their unique understanding of the local environment is lost forever. This makes the entire region more vulnerable to natural disasters. The dam will also have a devastating impact on the river's wildlife. A river is not just a channel of water, it is a living ecosystem. The dam will act as a giant concrete barrier, blocking the natural migration routes of fish and other aquatic animals. Many species of fish travel upstream to lay their eggs, and the dam will make this journey impossible, threatening their survival. The dam will also change the river's fundamental character. It will trap the rich sediment that the river carries down from the mountains. This sediment is what creates fertile floodplains downstream and provides essential nutrients for the entire river ecosystem. Without it, the land and the river will become poorer. The changes to the river will be felt far beyond the immediate area of the dam. The flow, temperature, and chemistry of the water will all be altered. This will affect every living thing that depends on the river, from the smallest insects to the largest mammals. The biodiversity of the Yarlung Zangbo Grand Canyon, one of the richest in the world, faces an unprecedented threat. Animals that rely on the river for food or a specific habitat may not be able to adapt to the new conditions. The construction of roads, power lines, and worker camps will further fragment the landscape, disrupting the lives of animals like the elusive snow leopard and the red panda, pushing them closer to extinction. Faced with the reality of China's giant upstream dam, India is not standing by passively. The Indian government is worried about being left in a vulnerable position, and so it has decided to take action to protect its own water security. The main response is to build its own large dam on the same river system. India is fast-tracking a project called the Upper Siang Multi-Purpose Storage Project, or SUMP, located in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. This dam will be built on the Siang River, which is the name for the Brahmaputra as it flows through this Indian state. The project is massive in its own right, designed to generate 11,000 megawatts of electricity. The primary strategic purpose of India's dam is not just to generate power, but to act as a counterbalance to China's project. The Indian Dam is being designed with a very large storage capacity, able to hold about 14 billion cubic meters of water. This is a defensive measure. If China were to hold back water during the dry season, India could use the water stored in its own reservoir to maintain the flow downstream. More importantly, if China were to suddenly release a huge amount of water, the Indian Dam could absorb the surge and prevent a catastrophic flood in the plains of Assam. It is essentially an attempt to regain some control over the river's flow on its own territory. However, India's plan to build its own dam is not without serious problems. The project faces strong opposition from local communities in Arunachal Pradesh. The indigenous Adi people who have lived in these valleys for centuries are worried that the dam's huge reservoir will flood their ancestral lands. It is estimated that at least 16 villages could be completely submerged, and up to 100,000 people could be displaced from their homes. For years, this local resistance has slowed down the project. Recently, there have been signs of a shift, with some villages allowing survey work to proceed after being offered incentives, but deep-seated opposition remains a significant hurdle. There's also a critical issue of timing. Building a dam as large as the Upper Siang project is a slow and difficult process, especially in a remote and mountainous region. Experts believe it could take India a decade or more to complete its dam. In contrast, China's project is already under construction and is expected to be operational sometime in the 2030s. This creates a dangerous gap. For several years, China's mega dam will be functioning while India's defensive dam is still being built. During this period, India will be at its most vulnerable, with no physical infrastructure in place to protect itself from any changes China makes to the river's flow. It is a race against time that India fears it might be losing. The story of China's mega dam on the Yarlung Zangbo is more than just a story about engineering and electricity. It is a story about a shared resource and the delicate balance of power in a region where water is becoming increasingly precious. This single river, known by 3 different names on its journey, supports the lives and livelihoods of millions of people across 3 different countries. What happens in one part of the river has direct consequences for everyone living downstream. The new dam represents a fundamental change, concentrating immense control over this vital water source in the hands of one country, raising tensions and fears for its neighbors. For China, the dam is a symbol of national progress, a key to achieving its climate goals and powering its economy. It is presented as a clean energy solution that will benefit the nation. However, for India and Bangladesh, the dam looks like a ticking water bomb. They see a future where their water supply for farming, their protection from floods, and the health of their economies could depend on decisions made in Beijing. This lack of control creates a deep sense of insecurity. The situation is made more difficult by the absence of a formal water-sharing treaty, which leaves downstream nations without legal recourse or guaranteed rights to the water they have always depended on. The risks go far beyond politics and water security. Building the world's largest dam in a seismically active, ecologically fragile, and rapidly warming region is a monumental gamble with nature. The potential for a catastrophic failure due to an earthquake, lake outburst floods, and the irreversible damage to a unique biodiversity hotspot are all serious concerns. Furthermore, the human cost is high, with local communities being displaced and their ancient knowledge lost. These hidden costs remind us that the true price of such a mega-project is often paid by the most vulnerable people and the natural environment itself. Ultimately, the Yarlung Zangbo Brahmaputra river system is a shared heritage and a shared responsibility. The current path of unilateral action and building competing dams only increases the risk of conflict and environmental disaster. The only sustainable path forward is one of cooperation. This requires open dialogue, transparent data sharing, and a commitment to managing the river for the benefit of all people who depend on it. Creating a strong international agreement that respects the rights and needs of each country is essential for turning a source of potential conflict into a symbol of regional peace and shared prosperity for the future. The fate of the river and the people who live along it depends on it.